This is K.M. Weiland, and you're listening to the 96th episode of the Wordplay Podcast. Early this week, I finished up my rewrite outline of my historical work in progress, The Deepest Breath, which meant I got to dive head first into the writing of new material. I'm completely loving the new subplots I've added to the story, and it's been a blast to return to my characters. I'm getting to flesh out them and their relationships in ways I wasn't able to do in the book's previous version. This week's adventures involve facing down a charging Cape buffalo, among other things. That's one escapade I'm more than happy to leave to my characters. The May issue of my e-letter hit inboxes last week. It included the usual roundup of inspirational quotes, creativity jumpstarters, and helpful links, as well as the article, How to Pull Off a Plot Twist, and my response to a subscriber's question about editing the first draft. If you're not receiving the e-letter and would like to, you can sign up for my mailing list at my website, kmweiland, that's weiland.com/mailing-list.php. You can read back issues online at kmweiland.com/e-letter-issues.php. Why opening with a characteristic moment is so important, the latest post in the video series on my blog, explains how Howard Hawks' classic western Red River used the characteristic moment as foreshadowing and framing. You can watch the video on my blog at wordplay-kmweiland.blogspot.com. New videos are posted every Wednesday. Meanwhile, enjoy this week's podcast, Pictorial Ideas for Constructing Your Own Writing Routine. I'm often asked about my writing routine. What techniques have I found most useful for making the most of my writing time, getting in the groove as fast as possible, and making sure I'm writing to my full potential every day? Although my writing routine evolves in minor ways, depending on what's going on in my life and what story I'm working on, I've discovered that organizing my daily writing routine into a series of specific steps, designed first to center my thoughts on my story, then to ground me in the requirements of the specific scene I'm working on, then to pump me into readiness for the actual writing, helps me get the most out of every minute I spend writing. My daily writing routine takes place from 4 to 6 p.m. 4 o'clock, prayer. I ask God to guide my writing, to grant me inspiration and efficiency, and to make my words pleasing to Him. 4:01, outline. I refer to my outline in the software program YWriter to make sure I remember all the details of the scene I'm supposed to be writing today. 4:05, current writing journal. I warm up my creativity with an entry in my writing journal. I discuss my feelings about my story and go over ideas for the upcoming scene. 4:15, old writing journal. I read an entry from an old writing journal to remind myself of the challenges I faced and overcame in previous stories. 4:17, writing article. I read one of my filed articles about the craft of writing, both as a warm-up exercise and a reminder of important techniques. 4:20, character sketches. I review notes about the character whose POV I'll be writing from today. 4:22, research notes. I review a pertinent segment from my research notes. 4:24, proofreading. I proofread the scene I wrote the day before. 4:30, music. I choose a soundtrack. 4:30, chocolate. I fortify myself with chocolate sustenance. 4:30, write. The rest of this week's post contains a pictorial tour of my writing routine. Since pictures really don't translate all that well to audio, you'll have to hop over to my blog to get the full gist. Take a look. You might find some ideas worth implementing in your own writing routine. Thank you for listening to the Wordplay Podcast. To read a transcript of this episode, visit me on the web at wordplay-kmweiland, that's weiland.blogspot.com, and be sure to listen again next week.